Hi, do you know why some husbands and wives struggle with communication at the very beginning of their relationship? Why some other couples deep into the marriage? If you're not sure of that answer, just stay tuned. I'm going to tell you why. Welcome back. Here's a story that I think you should hear. In the year 1990, a lady by the name Elizabeth Newton earned her PhD in psychology at Stanford University. And how did she earn her PhD? She did a very simple experiment. And in her experiment, she had two groups of people. To the first group, she called the tappers, and the second group she called the listeners. And she gave the tapper a simple task. She gave them a long list of songs, and they were required to tap out the rhythm of the song to the hearing of the listeners. And to the listeners, she gave a very difficult task to tell the songs that the tappers were tapping out. And one of those songs among the list was Happy Birthday to You. And so the listeners, the tappers are expected to tap Happy Birthday to You, and the listener is supposed to tell that the song is Happy Birthday to You, if you get the gist. And over the course of the experiment, 120 songs were tapped out. Guess how many songs the listener got correctly? Just 3. So 3 out of 120 songs were gotten correctly by the listeners. That was not the essence of the experiment. That is not the gist of the experiment. The gist of the experiment and the essence of the experiment is the expression and the feeling of disgust and surprise in the faces of the tappers when they realized that the listeners didn't get the songs we're tapping out. So, and this is the reason. While a tapper taps out the song, Happy Birthday to You, it plays in their head, Happy Birthday to You. As you're tapping out, it's playing in your head. And as it's playing in your head, you expect the listener to understand, to know that you're actually tapping out Happy Birthday to You. That is called the curse of knowledge. The curse of knowledge. And this is what the curse of knowledge is. Once you know something, once you have a knowledge in something, you expect somebody else to know it. And so if the other person doesn't understand what you're saying, you get irritated. Really? You don't understand? Really? That is the curse of knowledge. And does that sound familiar? This is a common problem in any kind of relationship where communication is critical, where communication is important. Like a husband and a wife, a boss and employee, politicians and voters, all of this relationship, communication is critical. Let's take a husband and wife, for example. A husband, for example, thinks that the bed sheet is dirty, and he believes that it is the responsibility of the wife to change the sheets. And he walks into the room and start having this conversation in his mind. The bed sheet is dirty. I wonder why she hasn't changed it. He keeps having this conversation over and over in his mind. Without saying a word to the wife, he assumes that the wife should also understand that the bedsheet is dead without saying a word. And when he gets irritated enough, he explodes and starts raising his voice and telling the wife, you have to change. Why didn't you change? Don't you see it's dirty? And all of these words without having a meaningful conversation that the wife understands. He automatically assumes that the wife knows what he's thinking and should do accordingly. But that is not the case. When you assume that someone should understand what you're thinking and act accordingly, it causes a lot of problems, not just in marriage, but in any relationship where communication is critical, where communication is important and needed. And so it's important for us to have a very clear communication with whoever we're with, our spouses, in business relationships. And one way of doing that is to get feedback. Actually have that conversation and get feedback from whoever you're having conversation with to be sure that they understand what you're trying to say. And when you do that, it limits the likelihood of friction and misunderstanding and commotion in these relationships. And that is it. If you have any other tip how people can have clear and meaningful communication, just share it in the comment below. I would appreciate that. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure to subscribe. And until next time, stay connected.